Welcome. I'm Eric, aka That GameFi Guy, and this is the channel where I do the research so you don't have to. Today's deep dive is on Astroverse. It's a space shooter game on the Binance Smart Chain platform. It looks like it's kind of similar to Galaga, that classic arcade game. We're going to take a look at the team, tokenomics, and investors just to get a better idea of what this game's about and if it's worth playing. Don't forget, if you want to discover and learn about new games, be sure to like and subscribe. And of course, this is not financial advice. It's just for entertainment purposes. All right, let's get started. I'm at their homepage, and upon first glance, it's really pretty, and everything's kind of clearly shown depending on what you want to look at on the top here. The one thing, though, is that a lot of these links, or some of these links, don't seem to work, which is kind of strange. Like, for example, if you go to their documentation page, it just takes you back to the home screen. Looking at for the Medium or Discord links, I don't know if they haven't set it up yet or what, but it takes you back to the home page. So yeah, that's kind of a theme for this web page, unfortunately. The other stuff is, you can stake, and they have a marketplace to purchase NFTs. Well, to buy and sell. Before we look at the game trailer, let's go to the roadmap really quick. Right now, Q1 2022, so pretty soon they'll be launching their 2.5D game version. Not sure what 2.5 means. In the Q4, they're going to have their 3D version release out. So that is something to look. I guess that'll be their kind of completed version of the game. And yeah, what else is going on Q1? Well, staking is already in progress. They don't have farming yet. Marketing partnerships. The NFT sale round, I think, happened already. And then Q2, they're going to expand their marketing abroad. And I guess they're going to have a tournament and some kind of DAO setup, game concept direction voting by the community. So yeah, got that to look forward to. All right, let's take a look at the trailer for the game. Although it's more of kind of just there's no actual gameplay. It's more just like a hype video, but it's pretty short, so we'll just take a look at it. Maybe that screenshot was kind of their idea of the 3D game that's going to be coming in Q4. But based on the screenshots I've seen, as we'll look at, that's definitely not how the game is currently. Okay, so what does the game actually look like? So there are two screenshots that I've kind of seen, and strangely, it's hard to tell if they're actually the same game. So right now, I'm on their pitch deck, but it's also on their main webpage. The first screenshot, which is this kind of horizontal shooting game, and it looks like maybe there's three kind of lanes, you could say, 3 or 4 lanes for this shooter. But then when you go to the Twitter, they have a Twitter post, and this is the more recent one. This was posted at the end of December. And they show this screenshot, which again, the same horizontal screen, but instead of the spaceships being horizontal, now they're vertical, and it's kind of more of that Galaga style look. So it's strange. I don't know, I guess it's very possible that they decided to change the feel of the game after trying it on mobile, but the inconsistency is a little strange to me. But I'm thinking because this is the newest one, this is how it's going to look once the game's released. The last tidbits about the gameplay is over here. Pretty much how it works is you log into the game, connect your wallet, and you need to buy a spacecraft first. So one player must own at least one spacecraft. And then you can choose the difficulty of the arena, normal, hard, or devil, and I don't know what it means when it says the chances of winning are divided equally for players. But so they show on the bottom left that it has 2 modes. You can use the arrow button to control your ship, or there's an automatic PvP turn-based gameplay. Interesting. The competition will be played in 1v1 according to the level of the spacecraft. So there is an automated aspect to the game as well if you don't want to play. And then when you win or lose, players will be awarded chest shards, an experience, and that can be combined to create a chest, which is going to give you NFTs or items to level up. All right, let's look at their Astroverse token now. And right now it has a fully diluted market cap of around $46 million with a max supply of 50 billion. I know they've been kind of burning tokens also, and there is a burning mechanism in the game. So we'll talk about that more. They have a 24-hour volume, at least recently, of 23,000. So the volume of the token traded is quite low, which will probably lead to volatility. And as you can see, the token got released January 3rd at around 0.0019 cents. And so since then, it's kind of fallen to about half of that. Going to their token distribution, which they show on their homepage, you can see it right here. If you kind of compile that and compare it to the other games I've been looking at, about 32% are dedicated to the team and investor funds, 53% to the players and stakers, and 15% towards the ecosystem, which I would say it's pretty fairly in line with most of the other games. There's no real, I guess, red flags. They do have a higher percentage of tokens dedicated to the players as part of the in-game rewards, 51%. So that, that's a good sign in my opinion. All right, looking at the vesting schedule of the token distribution, the big ones are the private sale, the team, and advisors. And if you look at the private sale funds, there is 10% was unlocked at the token generation event, which again was January 3rd. And there's a 4-month cliff after which it vests after linearly in 10 months. So 4 months is pretty short. The advisors and partnerships, they have a 6-month cliff. That vests after which it'll vest linearly in 12 months. Then the last one is the team, which is a 12-month cliff, a 3-month cliff, which is even shorter, investing linearly in 12 months. But, however, one great thing, which I think is a huge boost in confidence to this game, is they actually, this is not the case anymore for the team investing. They had a tweet recently where, let's see, when was this tweet? January 3rd, where they've decided to increase the time that the ASV tokens will be locked to 5 years. And I think this is definitely a great thing because it shows that they're committed to developing this game for long periods of time. And they aren't just looking to dump the token as fast as possible during like that hype time, the hype period between like now and when the game gets released. So that's definitely a positive. Okay, let's talk about the other buying and sell pressures for the token. And the first one to note is that it's going to cost you ASV tokens in order to even play the game, or to play. It's going to cost you every time you want to play a round. And looking at the gameplay on the bottom right-hand corner, you can see that it's going to cost at least 100 ASV in order to start the arena. And in today's prices, that's about 10 cents to play the game in normal mode. And whether you win or lose, continuing on the gameplay, they tell you that players will be rewarded chest shards and a certain amount of experience, whether you win or lose. And those chest shards do is once you collect 1,000, you can get a chest. And those chests contain NFTs or items to level up your ship. And for the leveling up your ship part, they tell you here that there's silver, gold, and diamond currencies, like apart from their ASV token. And it takes 1 silver to go from to level up the normal class spacecrafts, 10 silver and 1 gold to upgrade their good, and their high class spacecrafts require 100 silver and a diamond to level up. So going down to their mechanism page on their website, they kind of tell you how you can earn in this game, which is by farming NFTs. Again, that's by playing the game, collecting those shards so you can open those boxes and earning NFTs. I guess there's going to be a governance model, which I guess you'll also be able to earn maybe a portion of profits. They don't really talk about that apart from just governance, so it's hard to say. Staking NFTs, which is not available at the moment. Currently, you can stake your ASV token to earn NFTs, which let's look at that really quick. So right now, if you go to their staking page, you'll see that you can stake ASV to receive items. And by items, they mean chests. And it's kind of cool because depending on the amount of ASV you want to stake, they have different tiers here. But they will all yield a chest. So if you have more ASV, you can stake it for a shorter amount of time, 14 days, for example, to earn this one earns you a normal class spacecraft. But that costs more ASV. So if you want to get a chest and you don't have too many ASV, say 50,000, you can stake it for 2 months to get a chest. But if you have more, you can stake your ASV for only 14 days to earn that same chest. So they have different options here, which is kind of cool. And I also like the fact that staking ASV doesn't give you more ASV, because that kind of discourages kind of speculators and farmers to just earn that ASV and then just sell it on the market. This is kind of more for players to stake their ASV and get better ships and items. So it kind of encourages players to stake rather than speculators. Looking at the team now, it's kind of weird that they list the project manager, community manager first rather than the developers. I guess I don't know who the CEO is, but if you, again, here another broken link, it just kind of takes you back to their homepage. If you try to go to this guy's profile, like this first one, it does seem to work, and it takes you to his LinkedIn page. But he's just the community project manager. I mean, I don't want to say just the project manager, but here, let's look at their technology leader. 4 years UX design, 3 years for project. All right, so his LinkedIn page is working. And here's the developer. Like, you can't even click on this guy's LinkedIn or info. So yeah, it's kind of, again, just the art guy goes directly back to the homepage. So there's a lot of problems with the game website. And as a result, it's really hard to say anything about this team. Whether they might even be, you can almost consider them an anonymous team at this point, just because there's like very little information about either the CEO or just these main technology leads. All right, looking at their partners and investors, they actually only show 5 here. And of course, Certic is the auditing company, which it's great that they are audited by Certic. Let me see. If you go to their page, well, let's check. Astroverse. Okay, so there is an audit done by Certic. 3 major, 1 medium, 1 minor. So partially resolved. So it looks like they're working on fixing the results of the audit. But going back, they have a link to AU21 Capital, which is definitely one of the bigger investment firms, especially in the Binance ecosystem. However, I don't think if you go to their portfolio page, they make no mention of Astroverse, which I'm sure they have a million investments and they can't list them all. So they probably just listed the bigger ones. And at this point, Astroverse is pretty tiny. But apart from AU21 Capital, MCG Capital and Tugo, you can't click on their website. I tried searching for them online, like Tugo funds, Tugo investments. There's really nothing that I could find. So I don't know anything about them because you can't find any information. And same with, MCG Capital. I tried searching for them as well. No information. I found a Twitter profile, but this does not look like them. They are Vietnamese, which the other companies seem to be, or Astroverse seems to be a Vietnamese company, but they kind of talk about like Bitcoin, and they don't really have any mention of Astroverse. I tried searching. So I don't think these are them. So yeah, it kind of, again, it would be much more helpful if you can actually get a link to these guys' websites or Twitter handles or anything to identify and see what their partners are all about. So the fact that, there aren't many investors and it's hard to get information from what investors they do show, is not very encouraging. So kind of comparing the VCs listed to Astroverse with the other games I've been looking at, again, I mentioned that total investors and supporters, there's only 4. I didn't count Certic because they're not really an investor. They just paid Certic for the audit. And this is by far the least amount compared to all the other games I've been looking at. And even that number, again, is still combined with the fact that we don't know anything about Tugo or MCG Capital. It's a little worrisome. And the reason why total investors, in my mind, is having such a low number is a worrisome thing is that, 2 things. One, it's like, why couldn't they get more investors? What did these other VC funds see that would cause them to not invest? And the other thing is that because all the private funds are concentrated on such few a number of entities, if one of them decides to sell, that's a huge chunk of tokens that are going to be put on the market and sold. Looking at their social channels, you can see that, there are 82,000 Twitter followers and 95,000 Telegram members, which are relatively, in line with the other games we've looked at on Binance Smart Chain. As you saw earlier, they have a Discord button on their homepage, but it doesn't link to any Discord channel. And, Discord is always the best way to interact with the team just because it's just a much more organized format compared to Telegram. But Twitter is definitely the best way to contact or to get info from the team. As I showed you earlier, they had that tweet about locking up the token for the team tokens for 5 years, which is great news. But if you just went to their homepage and looked at their website, you wouldn't see that information. So yeah, Twitter's definitely the way to go to follow this team. All right, let's kind of recap. Pros, the team has committed to locking up their token for 5 years, and that's great for the long-term longevity of this game. I don't think any other team, at least in Binance Smart Chain, has decided to lock up their token for 5 years. So this is a great advancement for just Binance games or just any game in general. Like, we want to see this kind of commitment for all games, really. The other thing is that I like how the staking of the ASV token is going to give you NFTs in the game rather than earning more ASV tokens. And the reason is because it kind of encourages players to actually stake their token rather than outside investors who may just want to earn that income and are speculating on the ASV token. So I kind of like that. Yeah, it's a good reward incentive for players. And I guess, the other thing would be that, assuming this is a Galaga style game, I haven't seen any yet on the Binance Smart Chain platform. So this will be one of the more, unique GameFi projects. The cons is, well, kind of unfortunately, it's just all their documentation, really. Like, the website has a lot of broken links, such as like their team, their Discord, and also there's no white paper. Everything is kind of just put on that website, and nothing is the information they do have is not that detailed. And I guess the even bigger thing is that despite that supposedly there will be a Q1 release of the game, there's no real gameplay shown yet. And even the screenshots they show, they're kind of inconsistent. So really, we don't know exactly what this game is going to be looking like yet. Another documentation issue is that they mentioned that tokens that are spent to play each round will be burned periodically, but they don't really tell you how many or if, what percentage of those tokens are going to go towards the team versus being burned. There's a lot of ambiguity in the whole token model as well. So there's a lot of improvement and just clarity that needs to be put into the website and token structure. And then the last thing is also the fact that there aren't many VC funds, and really I can't find any information on the ones that are listed. So, as I talked about, having fewer investment funds is, I think in general, not a good thing, because of the fact that if one fund decides to sell their tokens, that just means a bigger portion of those tokens are going to be sold onto the market, which is going to create a huge selling pressure. Okay, well, that's about it. I'm definitely going to be waiting to get more information on the game and hopefully more clarity on the token structure before I put anything in this project. But I am excited for that information to come out and to try the game because, hey, I loved Galaga as a kid, and I would be totally down to play that game on the blockchain. All right, well, if you have any comments, questions, feel free to let me know. And until then, I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.